They always praise the hero, the noble one, the selfless one, the one who gives everything and expects nothing. But what they don't tell you is what happens after the story ends, after the crowd stops cheering, after the hero is left bleeding in silence while the villain walks away with the throne. That's the part no one wants to admit. In real life, heroes don't win. They get used, broken, forgotten. See, I used to believe in that fantasy. I played the role, loyal, humble, patient, and all it got me was pain. That's when I realized something brutal but true. The world doesn't reward goodness. It rewards strength, ruthlessness, control. So I stopped trying to be their savior and started becoming their reckoning. This is Phantom Focus, and today I'm going to tell you why I trained like a villain. Because in the real world, playing the hero only gets you hurt. I used to think loyalty meant something, that if you gave people your time, your effort, your heart, they'd give it back. But all I got in return were excuses, silence, and betrayal. I trusted people who only saw me as a stepping stone. I gave everything, my support, my loyalty, even my peace, and got nothing but scars to show for it. Meanwhile, I watched others rise, not because they were better, but because they were willing to lie, cheat, and manipulate without flinching. The more I tried to play fair, the more I was left behind. And the worst part, they smiled while doing it, like my pain was just background noise in their climb to the top. That's when I started questioning everything. Why does the hero always lose? Why do the ones who follow the rules get burned, while the ruthless thrive? I realized the truth. This world doesn't want you strong, it wants you obedient. And they loved the broken version of me, because it was easy to control. But when I started building power, when I stopped asking for permission and started taking space, they didn't call it growth, they called it dangerous. And maybe they were right. At some point, the truth became impossible to ignore. I started looking around, really looking, and I saw exactly who was winning. It wasn't the honest man who worked hard and played fair. It was the manipulator who smiled to your face while sharpening the knife behind your back. It wasn't the loyal friend who stood by others. It was the opportunist who switched sides the moment it benefited them. The people rising weren't righteous. They were ruthless. And the more I tried to be the good guy, the more I became a background character in someone else's victory. That's when the switch flipped. I realized heroes follow rules that were never designed to protect them. They were built to control them. Meanwhile, villains break those rules and build empires from the rubble. The world doesn't care about your good heart or pure intentions. It respects one thing: results. And no one hands you power for being kind. You have to take it. Heroes wait for help. Villains become their own saviors. And the second I understood that, I stopped playing fair. Because fair never saved anyone. It just kept them in chains. When the illusion finally shattered, I went silent. Not because I was broken, but because I was rebuilding. I cut out distractions. I cut off people. I cut the noise. Every fake friend, every wasted conversation, every excuse. I let it all burn. What was left was just me and the pain. But instead of running from it this time, I used it. Every scar became fuel. Every sleepless night became a lesson. I wasn't training to be admired. I was training to be untouchable. I started waking up before the world did. Cold mornings, heavy lifts, no music, just focus. Long nights drenched in sweat and silence. Not for some fake image, but to harden what life tried to break. I stopped caring about aesthetics. I didn't want to look powerful. I wanted to be dangerous. While they flexed in mirrors, I was reading strategy, studying war, dissecting minds, learning how predators think and move. Not saints, predators. Because kindness won't save you in a world that feeds on weakness. And as the weeks bled into months, I felt the shift. I wasn't training for validation. I was preparing for war. They trained to be liked. I trained to be remembered. And when I return to the battlefield, I won't be asking for space. I'll be taking it. When I finally came back, I was unrecognizable, not just to them, but to myself. The version of me they once knew, the one who over-explained, over-apologized, overgave, was gone. What stood in his place wasn't emotional, wasn't desperate, and definitely wasn't naive. I wasn't chasing approval anymore. I had studied the game, understood the rules, and now I was rewriting them. Every move I made was calculated. No more wasted energy, no more blind loyalty. I spoke less, but when I did, people listened differently. They felt the shift, the calm intensity, the quiet power. They couldn't put it into words, but they sensed it. I wasn't someone they could use anymore. I wasn't seeking peace. I was peace and war, depending on how they approached me. I didn't crave their praise. I didn't flinch at their opinions. I became something else entirely. Not their friend, not their follower, but their reckoning. I was no longer a victim of circumstance. I was the consequence they never saw coming. They said I changed, that I got cold. But they were wrong. I wasn't cold. I was focused. Focused on never bleeding for cowards again. Focused on building a life they could never touch, never break, and never be part of. I'll never be the hero again, because I know what it costs. I saw too much. I felt too much. I know what it's like to be the one who always gives, always forgives, always tries to fix what others keep breaking. I know what betrayal tastes like, and once you've swallowed it enough times, it changes you. It hardens you, and eventually you stop reaching out your hand and start sharpening your edge. Heroes give. They break themselves to build others. But villains build themselves first. They don't beg to be understood. They don't wait to be chosen. They take control of the narrative and write their story in bold, permanent ink. I didn't choose this path because I wanted to hurt people. I chose it because I got tired of hurting myself for people who never deserved it. I chose survival. I chose power. I chose respect over love. And in this world, only villains write their own stories. Heroes, they're still waiting for permission. So don't call me cruel. Don't call me heartless. And don't you dare call me broken. I just got tired. Tired of being used, overlooked, and left behind. I got tired of losing while pretending to be the good guy in a world that rewards monsters. And when I got tired, I didn't quit. I trained. I evolved. I became something else. I trained like a villain. Because in this world, heroes never win.